Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. My name is Edyana Putra, and I'm a student of Information System at Bina Sarana Informatika University. Today, I'm very excited to present my project, Inside the Computer, Software and OS, an in-depth analytics about computer hardware components and the operating system ecosystem. This is my profile. I'm from class 19 to C13. My name is 1925 20 to 15. Before we dive in, let me give you a bit of my background. I'm currently working in IT. This means I don't just study these theories. I fix this system every single day. My goal today is to show you how these components work together to create a stable environment for our daily tasks. The first topic we're going to talk about inside the computer. Detailed examination of the physical anatomy and internal hardware system. What is the motherboard? It is the base of the computer. It connects all other parts like CPU, RAM, GPU. Think of it as the nervous system. As you can see on slide, we have different form factors like standard ATX or the tiny Pico ITX. Its job is to manage the signal integrity between the CPU and all peripherals. If the motherboard has a bad capacitor or short circuit, the whole system dies, no matter how expensive your other parts are. It's basically a trash without motherboard. Then, the next one is the CPU, or Central Processing Unit, or maybe people call it as processor, or computational core. It executes the instruction cycle, fetch, decode, and execute. Every time you open an application, the CPU calculates billions of math problems in seconds. In my experience, the CPU is rarely the problem, but it's always the hardest worker in the room. That's why CPU is often very hot. Then, how do we fix the hot issue? We have the cooling system, the thermodynamics. High performance creates high heat. We use fans, liquid loops, and thermal paste. In my workplace, I often find PC performing poorly because of the thermal throttling. This is when the CPU slows itself down to 10% of its speed just to avoid melting. A simple cleaning or a new thermal paste can often make a PC feel brand new again. And then we have the RAM, random access memory, or temporary workspace. RAM, volatile, meaning it loses data when the power is off. It acts as a high speed bridge. Instead of the CPU waiting for the slow storage, it takes data from the RAM instantly. That's why adding more RAM is the best way to improve multitasking. In every device like Android, iPhones, PC, or laptop, more RAM is more good. Then we have a GPU, the paralogic visual power, the graphic processor from the PC itself. It handles all the picture, videos, and game you see on your screen. While a CPU has a few powerful cores, a GPU has thousands of small cores designed for one thing: rendering visual. It takes the heavy graphical load away from the CPU, allowing for a smooth user interface. And for storage, in this era technology, it's always recommended to use NVMe, which are much faster than old hard disks because they use flash memory. And for the power, we have PSU, power supply unit, the heart, the PC blood pump, converts electricity so the computer can use it safely. I always tell my friends, all of my colleagues, The power supply is the most dangerous part to go cheap on. A bad power supply can send a power spike that fries your motherboard and CPU in a millisecond. You really don't want that to happen, right? Then, what we're gonna discuss is about software and operating system, the manager behind the hardware, bringing logic and interaction to the digital architecture. First one, we have software system, the manager, and application software, the workers. Without the operating system, your hardware is just an expensive paperweight. Basically a trash. The system software is the lower level instruction like the operating system and drivers that manage the hardware units. Versus the application software, user facing programs like browser or office tool designed for specific tasks. For example, YouTube, Chrome. Then the operating system. There are many options operating system to use as an user, like Windows, Mac OS, Linux, Android, iOS, Unix, and BSD. The operating system acts as a manager between the user and the computer hardware. Then, the kernel, the hidden engine, the system heart. This is the most critical part. It operates in the kernel mode, which means it has total control over the hardware. Imagine the kernel is the manager of a restaurant. It decides which chef or CPU cooks which order or application and which table RAM they can sit at. It's the invisible brain behind every operation in the computer. Then, memory control, RAM swap. The operating system also manages space. If your 8 GB of RAM is full, the OS starts swapping. It borrows space from your SSD to create virtual memory. This is a very lifesaver that prevents your computer from crashing when you have too many cramps to open. It's very often that happen every time. You open many Google tabs and your PC starts slowing down. And then this is where it's gonna work and happen. Then the translator, or we call it device driver. These are the translator. They tell the operating system exactly how to talk to specific hardware, like keyboard, mouse, and the other. This is why we have plug and play. A stable driver means stable PC. A bad driver means a blue screen of death. You really doesn't want to happen here, right? Then the logic cycle. The first one, send input. You type comments or click icon to start a test. Then there is the process task. The operating system schedules the work and calls the core kernel. Third one, execute logic. The CPU follow precise instruction to perform the math and data work. Fourth, show result. The process data appears as graphics or text on your screen. Fifth is direct hardware. The system software use driver translator to control the visual part. It's a perfect harmony between metal and logic. Well, I think that concludes my presentation for mid-exam tasks for English 2. I hope this gives you a deeper understanding of the technology we use every day. Thank you for your time and your attention. If you have any question about my presentation, you can ask it in the comment section below. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.